I grew up in an environment where there were no birthday celebration or anything. So when I got married, I felt that's a value that I needed to bring into our marriage.
I did. Papa side up. My name's Martin Mwansa, and this is my wife, Victoria Mwansa.
Yeah, we are glad to be here. Just like what my husband has mentioned, Victoria Chilima Mwansa, and we are glad to be here. Yeah.
Well, it's a long time ago. Yeah, 32 years ago. I think through church meetings, I met Victoria. And at first, it wasn't like others would say love at first sight. I wasn't even aware sometimes that she was around. But as life and fate would have it, and God as would direct it, we eventually began to take note of each other. She tells me she's the one who saw me first because I was quite prominent. I was in the leadership of the church. So from time to time, I'll be in front announcing things, interpreting for the pastor. So she saw me quite early before I saw her.
Yeah, I met my husband through a mutual friend who was my lecturer by then. And this time he had invited me for Bible study. And at that Bible study, one time, I found my husband was sharing with the pastor. He was an interpreter and the pastor in training by then. That's how I met him.
Yeah, like I said, it was a very gradual process. It wasn't instant, but this one Sunday, I noted Victoria wasn't in church. And I told the pastor, I'm going to check on Victoria. I don't know whether that was just an indirect way of eluding the watch eye of our pastor. And then I walked over to Skanza where she was staying with her parents. And then I found the father with her cousin. I think they were enjoying the weekend, having a few drinks. I inquired whether she was home. And they told me, no, she's actually gone to hospital with a patient. So a few minutes later, I said my goodbyes and said, well, tell her I was here. I'm from church. Wanted to check on her. And just when I was walking around the corner from where the house was, I meet her. Pardon me. I meet her coming from the hospital with her cousin and greeted her with the cousin. And for some reason, the cousin went and stood a little distance away from where we were. And I said, this should be my moment of truth. Let me just say what is upon my heart. And I told her, Victoria, do you believe in being led by the Holy Spirit? I quoted, I think, Romans 8. As many as, verse 14, as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the children of God. I am being led to you. I was very blunt, very direct. For me, I'm convinced that my heart is towards starting a life with you as my wife.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this. I'll allow you to go and think about it, pray about it if you will. Come back to me. And that's how we parted company on that particular day. Yeah.
Yeah, on that particular Sunday, I'd missed church because one of my cousins, the son wasn't well. And later on, when we were coming back from the hospital, I saw him from a distance and I was wondering what he had come to do. But because he was somebody who never used to talk to me or even share a greeting, But probably my cousin had sensed that this guy had something up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that the first time he came, that's when he actually proposed. For him, it was definite. He knew that I was the one. I felt marriage is a serious institution. I really needed time to pray and seek God. It took me approximately 1 week to get back to him with an answer. I had been praying about it. There was so much peace within me, which really stood out. My answer was yes.
And I was full of joy, unspeakable joy. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was another episode. I think when you talk about our relatives,
Yeah.
to say the truth, to some of them, we were not well suited to marry.
Yeah.
The traditional pundits would say, these people from Luapula, because that's where I hail from, if he dies, you'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
And my parents also, my sisters, had their own observations. But for me, like she has said, prior to that, I think 3 years or 4 years, earlier, we had started praying about how I would be wives with my late friend, Justin Mulenga. And when I made that move to go and check on Victoria, the conviction was so strong. I was fully set that the time had come, and I had found the right person to get into a serious relationship with. So there was mixed reaction. Others said, okay, it's fine. Others said, no, this cannot be. And especially that our beginning was very, very humble. We really didn't have anything to write home about in terms of property, cars, whatever. We were just us in love. And that, I think, was the genesis of our journey together. Yeah.
Yeah. There were mixed reaction from relatives, and some thought we were a mismatch. But I received so much encouragement from my mom. For her, she was like, Victoria, do you have peace within your heart concerning this relationship? If that is what you feel, then go ahead. You have my blessings. I also had my cousin that has really stood with us up to this time, who was the go-between my families and my husband's family, and a staunch believer that really gave me assurance that I was doing the right thing.
Yeah, from the time of the proposal and getting our house in order, doing the Lobola thing, families meeting and settling the matters, I think 1.5 years, I want to believe.
It was 1 year.
1 year, 1 year, yeah.
1 year exactly.
We are the type that don't waste time, I think.
We knew what we wanted.
I think within a period of 1 year, we were set. And of course, before the wedding kicked off, there were quite a lot of setbacks. Funerals after funerals. And those especially were like not for the idea, jumped on the bandwagon to say, we told you. Oh, these are omens that this is not meant to be. Why don't you possibly rethink this? Yeah. But eventually, we tied the knot. I think we took a walk into town. Yeah, we took a walk in. I can't remember the particular shop we went to, but somewhere in Cairo. Oh, Karibu Chemistry?
Yes.
Yeah, that time I think they were dealing in jewelry. So we went there. We tried. This one pushes their finger. And by the way, we were not properly guided by the church, because the church, I think, took a very big front in terms of guiding us. So we put the rings on each other before we... But the pastor's wife came in and told us, no, this is not how we do it. We will have to come and do it in church, in the public eye of everybody.
The ring part, we went together to look for a ring, and later on we had to follow the right procedure.
Wow, there was some drama there. Yeah. Of course, we had constituted a bridal party, most of which were church members. A few friends, some relatives. I think the page girl, I mean, the flower girl was
my cousin.
Was a cousin to Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did our rehearsals. But as fate would have it, on the day of the wedding, that was the time Zesco had chosen to start load shedding in 1992. Just when we were about to walk into the hall at Livala Secondary School, Zesco did their thing and we were blacked out. And then our pastor just took an accordion and started playing one of the church songs, and we walked into the auditorium, and then the pastors took over to do the church blessings and everything that followed. Yeah.
The wedding, there were mixed feelings. Some relatives thought they could bring in the traditional aspect of Alangis and all that. And as believers at that time, we were so radical. We told them we didn't want to have anything to do with such things. Yeah.
And there was quite a tug of war, we must confess, because our plan was that immediately after the families have had their meals, about 17, 18, we should be coming back to our matrimonial home.
Yeah.
But I think they had something up their sleeves. And when we said now we are giving leave to go and rest, there was a fight.
Yeah.
My wife was taken elsewhere. I also said, okay, since you don't want to help us do what we think we should do, this is our wedding. I jumped on a taxi and headed off home. And she remained. So when they saw that, I think they were poking into our affair a little bit. That's when they eventually brought my wife home. Yeah, so that was our wedding evening and our wedding day.
Yeah. The wedding dress, my husband is the one who identified where I could get a wedding dress. It fitted me well, and it's something that we just hired. Not that we bought, we just hired. Yeah.
She looked well in that the wedding dress.
Yeah.
She looked pretty.
This year will be clocking 32 years, and the Lord has blessed us with 4 children. There would have been 5. We lost our third born some 25 years ago. So between our second born and our fourth born, there's a gap of 6 years. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very, very important part of the relationship. I think for us, for me, speaking for myself, I think the God factor, allowing God to be at the center of everything we do as a couple, I think that has helped us to overcome selfishness, unforgiveness, even when it comes to, bridging our differences of opinion. We are always mindful.
Yeah.
The word of God demands that we live at peace. Yeah. So I think the God factor. Friendship is another aspect. I think much more than anything, we are friends.
Yeah.
We laugh, talk about anything, anywhere. And I think friendship has been also something that has helped us to, weather the storms of a marriage relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to concur with my husband, the God factor. We always talk about the triangle when we teach in premarital counseling, when we bring out the aspect of the God factor. When each one of you, husband and wife, are pursuing God, as you draw closer to God, that will also cause you to bond as a couple. So this causes you to learn to submit to God totally. And then this spiritual intimacy tends to spill over to every aspect of your marriage.
Yeah.
The other thing also is serving God. We don't believe where you just attend church to warm up pews, but we believe in giving to others as well.
Yeah.
We've been part of premarital for a number of years and post-marital one-on-one counseling. As we serve, we've realized we are also ministered to. We have also learned a lot from our counselees. Serving as a couple helps you to bond.
That's right.
It brings you so much peace, fulfillment, and contentment in your marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, patience has been one of the things that has helped us to stay together. A couple that is impatient, I think he's headed for disaster, because sometimes we take long to learn about certain things, how to become a good leader, how to become a good husband, how to become a good wife. One needs to be patient, and I think patience has been one of the virtues that has helped us to, stick in there and allow God to do what He purposed for us for this relationship.
I think the other aspect as well is we have continued to date and court. Once in a while, we do go out for dinner, go out for movies. Sometimes we go on getaways just to unwind. Yeah.
Yeah. Marriage being what it is, it's heavy duty work. Marriage is heavy duty work, and it's not for the faint-hearted. And once in a while, problems just spring in your faces. And I may not cite a specific time or an instance when, but there have been those instances when you are saying, Lord, what did I got myself into? What did I get myself into?
Yeah.
But because you know your commitment to the other, you are a person of your word, and you are determined to see this thing go through, you come back to the drawing board and say, my dear, I think this way we may not succeed. Why don't we realign ourselves through communication, openness, being transparent, and vulnerability? I think that is how we have managed to weather some of those storms that come. And here we are.
Yeah, there have been battles in our marriage. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage or a perfect couple or a perfect match. When you talk about being a couple, you are from different backgrounds, you have differences, you have different personalities, and you define the way that you handle conflict as well. Okay, so when it comes to such situations where you've had battles, it's a period where you go to God, go back to the drawing board. Where do we start? Where did we start from? What really brought us together? We always encourage couples in premarital counseling to say, take note of what has brought you together. In years to come, there will be challenges. You have to get back to those things. Giving up. We serve a living God. We have seen God come through for us and also touch marriages, couples that we have counseled, where you are like, will anything good come out of this marriage? And we have seen God come through. And that has been a great encouragement to us as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow. 101 things about Victoria, but outside a few things. I think our friendship and companionship. She's a type that really lifts me up in my low moments. There are certain things as a man where you think and feel, I think here I am sunk, I am done, it's over. And then she comes and tells you, you have what it takes. And then she has got this title she gives me. She has given me King Martin. That simply bolsters me up. I pick myself up and I say, yes, so I can do it. Somebody has approved, I can do it. So first of all, she's a friend, an encourager, somebody who is very faithful. Her cakes are beyond measure, beyond comparison.
Yeah, what I really appreciate about my husband, what really stands out, um, is servanthood leadership. In the beginning of our marriage, I didn't really know much about what it means to be a wife or to be a mother. Most of the things that you see about me now are a result of what my husband has taught me. Yeah. Or ways of affirmation. Okay. My husband likes calling me my girl. If I've done a beautiful cake, he will be like, wow, girl, you're lethal.
You are deadly.
You're deadly. I love that. If you are going for ministry, could be TV presentation, or like the times would come for words of wisdom, will be like, hey, girl, let's go and burn Babylon down. The I love you. I enjoy that. He says that every now and then. I enjoy those words of affirmation.
I think that is one thing as people are in the marriage ministry that really affects us somehow.
Yeah.
To see those statistics when the people who do research about what goes on in the Zambian marriages, and to see those statistics, upon thousands of couples, marriages breaking, that affects us somehow. But I think from our point of view, why maybe young men and women are missing it, I think to me, it boils down to a lack of adequate preparation.
Yeah.
That is one aspect. And maybe before I come to a lack of preparation, let me talk about the need to find or to set marriage on the right foundation.
Yeah.
Okay? I think for us, a good foundation for a good marriage is everything. And nowadays we see people starting on a wrong footing. Others have gone into marriage because they are attracted to the wealth or the stuff somebody has. Or maybe the lady has fallen pregnant and they say, let's just marry, before they even prepare, before they even get to know each other that well. So for us, the foundation is key.
Yeah.
The God factor is the other thing. Without God being at the center of one's marriage, the likelihood of them succeeding is very slim. Yeah, possibly these could be some of the reasons why young people are missing and marriages are falling apart.
Yeah. For me, what really stands out is lack of identity. I think before someone decides to settle, they should take time to find out who they really are, and then in learning to define your expectation. What are you expecting from this relationship? If you know what you expect from, then there will be no confusion. Who should provide, who should pay bills, who should take care of the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. The other aspect possibly why marriages are failing or young ones are missing it is a lack of vision. Yeah, not knowing the purpose why marriage is there. When you read the Bible, we are taught where there's no vision, people perish. So if you start a marriage without properly defining the direction you are going to take as a couple, you just find yourself and you fall into this thing people call love, and you think you are going to survive without properly honing out a vision for yourself as to what kind of marriage you want to see 5 years or 10 years down the road. Chances of failure are very high. Yeah, so a lack of vision and not knowing exactly why marriage should be,
Yeah.
possibly that could be one of the reasons why our young ones are missing it. So sit down, one is to sit down. What are we doing? What is expected of me as a husband? What is expected of me as a wife? And then you go and get information from the people, possibly, who have been in there. That helps. that helps.
Yeah, I've seen couples to be take so much time to prepare for the event instead of the marriage. They'll have these posh weddings and then forgetting that that's just an event which will just take place for 1 hour, 2 hours, and it's done. But marriage is a lifetime. So it's important that people learn to prepare for the marriage. Yeah.
Two lessons. Yeah, it's a huge school, so lessons are many, but two maybe for me that stand out is that marriage is hard work. One must be prepared to put in their best.
Yeah.
It is not for the underaged, it's for mature people, those who have really made a decision out of conviction. Number two, I think you can't do marriage properly, you can't do marriage successfully without the involvement of God. For me, those two lessons stand out.
Yeah, for me as well, what stands out is the God factor. You cannot have a successful marriage without the God factor. The second point is identity. If you go into marriage not knowing who you are and God's purpose, marriage can destroy you. Yeah. Anything you hear, you want to apply into your marriage and you get confused. Um, 27th April.
Do I recall 9th of September? Oh, yes, I got it. Here, it's a big deal here. You better prepare yourself. But for me, I think my background, I think has taken a lot away from the value that birthdays bring. And I think she has been my mentor in that area. Birthdays. Sometimes I even forget my own birthday. Yeah, so she's big on birthdays.
Birthday. I grew up in an environment where there were no birthday celebration or anything. So when I got married, I felt that's a value that I needed to bring into our marriage. Yeah. For years I used to, but sometimes now that our children have grown up, they're like, not birthdays.
Forget about the cake.
Yeah. I would want to go out for a
something
movie
different.
Or something. Yeah.
My name's Martin Mwansa.
I'm Victoria Mwansa.
We are the Mwansas, and this is how we met.